Welcome back to Between Bells. Sandi Harding is the store manager of the Last Blockbuster. Now she's the subject of a new documentary. The Last Blockbuster follows Harding as she tries to keep the video rental store afloat in the age of streaming. Here to tell us more is Sandi Harding herself. Sandi, so great to have you with us on the show today. A little dose of nostalgia for a lot of us. Now, when you started, Blockbuster had roughly 9,000 stores. Now, as we mentioned, yours is the last one standing. As you've seen the business dwindle over the years, what is your motivation to keep holding on to this Last Blockbuster?
Oh, it absolutely is just a love of the store, the community, of movies. I really do absolutely love my job.
And what motivates you, I guess, from a community standpoint to keep going, especially during a pandemic? What do you love so much about the job?
There's something special about working somewhere where everybody comes in with a smile on their face. They come in there, they really enjoy being there. And I feel like I'm giving everybody, just a little bit of something special. I mean, we all know that movies are a great escape, and what better way to escape life than being able to go into the last standing blockbuster with a smile on your face, remember good times, remember those nights going in and renting a movie and spending it with your family or your loved one. And, if I can help people feel good right now, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, Sandi, I have such good memories of every Friday night with my family. We'd go into our local Blockbuster, not having any idea what we were going to take home, but you have that enjoyable browsing experience with your family, so I totally understand that. But I do understand that you had to make some adjustments because of the pandemic, as far as even acquiring some of those DVDs in the store. What were some of the changes that you had to make?
Well, I think the biggest changes is, the vendor that we did have that we're getting the movies from, was not able to survive the changes in the industry. Right now there's not really any movies coming out. So it was really kind of a scramble to be able to figure out what we were going to put on the shelf every Tuesday and then being able to find a way to acquire them. Going out and buying the movies is not a new thing for us, but we definitely felt the pinch when suddenly, here it is May 1st and we had no movies coming from a vendor. And so that was kind of a unique experience for us. But I think the best part then again is, we're able to offer curbside service. So we are still able to come up with a unique, different way to keep servicing our customers, even when people weren't feeling safe coming into the store.
Sandi, I do wonder, when you offer things like curbside pickup, is there a way to mimic that kind of browsing experience, that personal experience when you're not walking into the store and browsing the shelves? How do you make sure that experience itself is just as delightful and enjoyable as going into the store?
Well, and part of it is that they know that we're literally walking down the shelf with the phone in our hand. So, I mean, customers know that. And one of the things that we did was we told all the employees to write out a list of a couple movies from every genre that they really love, that they had no problem suggesting to customers within a moment's notice. Because, once you're on the phone, the first thing, an interview and any conversation you're going to have, you're going to draw a blank at some point. So the best strategy was just to have a list ready to go. And so we had kind of a fun time going through the sections and finding our favorite movies, and then just walking down the aisles with customers. And I think that, you close your eyes and kind of envision that thing of doing that. And I think people really still got to enjoy a little bit. It's not ever going to be the same as it would be if you're there yourself. But if we can try to provide a little bit of normalcy, that's a good thing.
Sandi, pandemic aside, just contextualize for me how business has been and who your customers are. Is it more of a novelty or tourist attraction, or do you have loyal customers that come back time and time again into your store?
We absolutely have loyal customers. We would not survive without the support of our community, and that is not lost on us. The tourism has definitely helped. We have online sales. We have, a booming online business that we never in a million years thought we would ever be doing, which we're very grateful for. That has definitely helped us through the pandemic. But I think that those local customers that come in time and time again, especially right now, the tourism is not as much. And we wouldn't want to encourage people to be traveling to Bend and putting everybody at risk. So, without that support of that local community, we would never be able to survive, the last, 15 years that I've been there, and let alone through the last 6 months.
Sandy, we know that Blockbuster in the past had passed up the opportunity to buy Netflix for $50 million, which would have been such a deal. In retrospect, do you ever imagine what Blockbuster could be or could have been? Or do you kind of like that you have the old school version of OG Blockbuster that you've been able to maintain?
You know what? I think for us, the OG Blockbuster is definitely a cool thing for us. But sure, I think about it. I try not to dwell too much on it because, there's not really much that we can do about it. And I wasn't a part of that conversation or those decisions. And so I just try to keep moving forward. That's the only thing we can ever do.
You guys are getting creative as well. The Last Blockbuster was available to rent on Airbnb, which I think is super cool. What was that whole experience like?
Oh, that was amazing, and the best part, that something I never thought in a million years that would be a part of it was the last evening that we had people in the store. They actually brought VHS home videos that they had never seen of each other and were able to watch those in the store. And I thought that was pretty special and pretty cool. But yeah, no, it was great. It was a lot of fun and people really enjoyed it. I was kind of surprised, but how many people really reached out and wanted us to continue to do it. And I was like, we're not quite there to a museum status yet. We are still an operating store. So we wanted to kind of keep it in check, but it was still really fun to do.
I mean, it looks amazing. Sandy, I do have to ask you, what is your go-to genre to rent from Blockbuster? I have my own, as growing up with my family, a G-rated rom-com, I think is what we would turn to on Fridays. What's your genre of choice?
Oh, you know what? Mine is definitely horror movies. And I know people are going to laugh about that, but I'm a huge Stephen King fan. And so, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a horror movie. I love Stand By Me too and Shawshank. So anything Stephen King, that's usually my go-to. And the kids in the know at the store, it's not uncommon for them to come in and hear the shining music in the background while I'm working on my computer. So it's actually kind of fun.
That is amazing. Sandy, we have different tastes because I tend to avoid horror, but that is good to know. Sandy, thank you so much for your time. Really fun talking to you. That was Sandi Harding, the Last Blockbuster store manager. The documentary is out on December 15th.